we are doing our mixed media bird today, and I'm excited for this one. These are so fun to do. Hey, Laura. So I'm going to turn my music down really quick. Hey, Nikki and Tammy. So I am so excited about this one, and I'm actually glad I'm getting to do it with you guys live. I have about 1 million things going on, and you guys are going to hear more about that later today. Actually, you know what? I may just tell you, and I'll cut this out before I put it up on the website. I'll go ahead and tell you guys now what I have planned for later today, having to do with the social easel, so you guys will get the inside scoop. So you guys know we're opening again in March. Hey, Lisa. And I keep having, it's funny how the business has shifted. In the beginning, I had, 99% of my followers were from Springfield, Missouri area. And now a year later, I would say the majority of the people that follow me on Facebook are not from this area. So every time I post a new painting that I, didn't necessarily intend to be an online version, people are requesting it to be an online version. So, of course, that's got my brain going. And, of course, you guys in the membership, we're doing 3 paintings a month now. So, that middle week that was a technique week, it's going to be switched for something like this. So you're getting 3 full projects a month. So I can't add any more to the membership. So I was trying to figure out how to, in addition to just doing single tutorials, how to offer people more if they want more. And so I came up with the idea of doing a 6-week kind of boot camp course with me. And I'm going to open this up to you guys as well as to the general public, because this will be different than what you get inside this membership. It's kind of like an add-on. There are some of you completely content with 3 paintings a month, and that keeps you busy. And then there are some of you who do those as soon as they come out, and you're ready for more, and you're ready for more, which is great. I love it. I love that everyone is creating, but I'm trying to figure out how to give everyone what they need. So this boot camp, and I'm going to launch it today. I'm going to talk about it on the main social easel page, is going to start the last week in January, and it will run 6 weeks, and it will end right before we open the doors back up to our membership. So basically what is going to happen in this boot camp is there's going to be a technique week, which you guys will only have seen the very first video, because I think it's in our group. But anyways, a few technique videos, but I'll be adding new technique videos. So basically what it's going to be is very basics. This is for, people who don't know anything about it. So it's going to be basics in acrylic, techniques, and then a painting that applies those techniques. The next week, it's going to be a new technique and a painting that applies those techniques, and we'll do that 3 times. So this is a new boot camp. And again, you guys I would love to have you in there. It will be an add-on to the membership. So it's kind of like an extra level, a step up. But it is going to be $127 for the general public. I'm going to give it to you guys for 50% off. So it's only going to cost you, what did I just say? 120, whatever half of 127 is. So anyways, that is going to be available for you guys. So I just didn't want you to be shocked when you're on the social easel later today. If you see me go live and you're not following what I'm doing, it doesn't affect anything with the membership. You guys are going to continue to get everything you get. This is either an add-on for you guys if you want it, and these will be different paintings than what I offer in the membership. So there'll be 3 completely separate paintings than what you will have in the membership, and that's going to be open to everyone. And it's kind of just a quick 6-week course to introduce people to the Social Easel online paint studio, let them know how it works, and then they can decide if they want to do the membership with us or not. So let me know what you guys think about that if you're on here. I'm super excited about it, but long story short of me telling you that, one, I was going to tell you anyways today, but I wanted you to know why I didn't pre-record this and why we're doing it live, because I've been busy prepping and getting ready for everything else behind the scenes here. Okay, so we are doing our cute little mixed media bird today. And I love this little guy, girl, whatever you want to call her. Anyways, super fun. I'm going to show you how to do it. I am not going to make it identical to this because I want everyone's to look different. I'm going to show you how I do it and the basic shape of the bird, which is very simple. And then you can add on whatever you want, whatever style you want. There's so many things you can do with this. So I'm going to make mine today a different color bird, because I'm probably gonna like hang these next to each other as like a grouping. So I'm gonna change my color scheme just slightly. So anyways, it's not gonna be exactly like this. I wanna give you the how-to, how to start with mixed media when you're starting from scratch. So we did the mixed media chapel and that was a little more specific. This is gonna give you another example and kind of show you how I piece things together. And it doesn't have to, like just to kind of explain, like the shape of the bird, I'm going to show you, I sketched this on, and then I tore little pieces of scrapbook paper in different, see if you can see that. You can't really see it unless you're up close to it, and I don't know what the reflection is like on there. But anyways, I tore little pieces of scrapbook paper and then outlined around that with paint and stuff. You could just as easily just cut the shape of the bird that you want out of, like, let's say you have a favorite piece of scrapbook paper. These are more, so this pad I'm going to show you guys. This is called Barnwood Pretty. This is from Hobby Lobby. This week, depending on when you watch this video, this week they're all their scrapbook pads by the Paper Studio are 50% off. But these are just all different colors, but I think they're gonna make awesome backgrounds. Like even if you just wanted to use a whole sheet or maybe tear a couple and do some different color backgrounds. But I love the polka dots and gingham. And I think there's some chevron in here, some flowers, but they have this really cool like wood grain. So these make really neat backgrounds for mixed media. And then this other one I got, let me cut this open real quick. And these patterns are more of like what I would use for like the inside of the bird maybe. Some of these are backgrounds too. That one's really pretty. But like you could, if you wanted to do a pink bird, you could use that and just cut the shape out of the bird. Or I'm just gonna do this really quick to kind of show you guys a few things that you can add to your painting if you want to. If you don't want to paint hearts on, you could cut some out. And I'm just going to draw my shape on here first. And use these pieces to add on to your piece of art. Oops. So you could do the same thing if you wanted to do this with the shape of your bird. I'm going to go ahead and cut this heart out all the way, and I'll probably use it somewhere on this one. If not this one, another one. I think I want to do like a mixed media angel or mixed media angel wings. I had so much fun making this on Sunday that now I'm just craving doing this all the time because there's seriously so many things you can do with it. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to leave that Sharpie on there for now because I'll end up covering that up with paint most likely. But anyways, that's just to show you if you find a pretty scrapbook pattern that you want to use as the inside of your bird, you can do it that way as well. So today I want my bird, I think I want to do, just glancing through here real quick. I think a yellow bird would be cute. either yellow or teal. I'm gonna do a yellow. So I'm just gonna tear this out. And these scrapbook pads, when they are 50% off, man, that is such a good deal, because like this one has 80 sheets and it was only $7.50. The other one has 180 sheets and it was $10. So, I mean, this stuff is gonna last you forever. This is pretty. I might use some of this as well. And I would recommend getting a scrapbook, if you like the mixed media and you plan on doing more of this. I would recommend getting one of those plastic 12 by 12 containers to keep your scraps in as well, because I use a lot of scraps. So I never throw them away. I have a drawer next to me over here at my station where I just keep all my scraps, and I can open it and look and see what I have in there and pull out what I need. But if you don't have a little station like this, one of those containers is going to work great. Okay, so that's kind of, I'm going to leave this guy right here. So that's kind of the base of what I'm going to use for my bird. I want to use some more of the music notes for my background. You can also print off this kind of stuff if you want to. Just use your printer and print off some music notes or old, like newspaper looking lettering if you want, something like that. And then in the original, I also use, this is tissue paper here and here that I kind of tore and put on there. And I think I got this in a box from Deco Art, but I haven't looked because this has lasted me so long, and all this was 2 pieces of tissue paper. But you, again, can go to Hobby Lobby and get printed tissue paper, or probably even find that on Amazon too. These 2 are what I'm going to use today. So this is going to kind of be my background pieces, maybe something else. But this is going to be the core of what I do before I do the paint. And then I'm going to give you 2 options as far as what you can use to do your mixed media. And I discovered this because I ran out of Mod Podge when I wanted to make this on Sunday. And so this is gel matte medium, just like what we use if we want to thicken paint. But I had this and I hadn't even opened it yet, and I flipped it over on the back, and I thought I had remembered that you could use it for collaging. And then I was going down here, and right at the bottom it says excellent glue for collage. And that's what I used on the original, and I loved it. It's matte, it went on super easy. So you can either use gel medium to use as your glue, or you can get Mod Podge. But I did do matte in both of them, and I'm glad I did, because the finished product of it, I didn't have to go back. Like if you use a Mod Podge with a luster or like a shine to it, you can see the difference where the paint stops and the paper stops and all that kind of stuff. With matte, everything looked the same except for my metallic gold that I put in there. So I would recommend matte, sealer, Mod Podge, whatever you want to use. And then I showed you guys this in the picture, but I'm going to show you again. This is the alphabet and number symbol stamping set that I use, and this is in my Amazon store. So you could get different styles and whatever you want. You could go on and on with this stuff, but don't get overwhelmed. Start with some basics and then just get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is sketch on. I thought I had my pencil right here. I'll use this one. Use my kid's pencil. I don't even know why that's in my stuff. So I made my original guy. He has long little legs. If you don't want your legs that long, you could put them, further down on your mixed media pad if you want to. So whatever style you want. And I think since I'm going to put these as a pair together, I'm going to flip my bird around and do it different. So basic shape of my bird, and again, this is just my version, very basic. Start like you're making the letter C. Okay, so big fat C, and then you're just kind of And I'm not worried about any of these sketch lines because that's all going to get covered up. Almost like a paisley shape if you think about it. So I'm coming on here, kind of pulling up, but see, it's all one smooth line, just with a point. So that's going to be my basic shape of my little guy. And then I'm going to start, we'll use this Mod Podge today. This is brand new. And I used my 40% off Hobby Lobby coupon for this, and I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's the best deal you're gonna get, because it's $9 regular price, and I got it for like $5.45, something like that. But this gigantic container is gonna last for quite a while. Okay, so I've got my Mod Podge ready. I know where I want my bird. And now I'm just gonna start kind of placing my background pieces on here. And you can cut or tear these. You can make it however you want. And I am doing this on my mixed media pad, so I think you guys can see that. I didn't plan on that originally. I was going to do an 11 by 14 canvas, but I love that I did it on the mixed media pad, because then I just took it off. I just tore it at the perforated edge, and then I was able to frame it. So that worked really well. So I'm just dipping into my Mod Podge, and this is messy. You're going to get messy. The other thing I love about matte, I'm not worried about if it gets on my pad in different places, because it's just going to dry clear, so it doesn't matter. So don't get too gloppy, just get a nice coat on there. You know, which way do I want it? We'll go this way. And smooth it out with my fingers first, and then I'm going to go back over. And don't be afraid to use your fingers. Wash all that glue off later. Get dirty with your art. It's more fun. I'm just kind of smoothing out anywhere I see little bubbles wanting to try to come up here. Make sure when you are done with your brush, it goes right in the water, because this Mod Podge, you know, it's basically glue. It's gonna get in your brush pretty quick there. This is another thing you could do. I guess you could just paint on your mixed media pad itself and throw in your tissue paper. Again, this is tissue paper, so it's a little bit thinner. I think I want to add like a strip of this across here. So this is a little bit thicker, so you'll have to add a little bit more to that. Maybe I'll put that down below again. Oh, I can't decide. You know what, I kind of like it. I think I'm gonna angle it across there. So you guys kind of get to just see me in my creative process. This is not all pre-planned. Try to teach you guys to let loose a little and have fun playing and experimenting and moving things around and seeing what you like. That's how collage works. If you haven't done collage in the past and you're new to that type of art, whether it be mixed media or not, just collage in general, it's not something you really plan out a ton ahead of time. You kind of play with things and move pieces around and just kind of see what happens. Create different shapes and angles, overlap different patterns and designs. So if I feel it kind of coming up, I'll make sure I get some glue underneath there on those edges. I'm gonna see, let's see down here. I might want to add something different at the bottom. I'm gonna tear this out. I'm probably gonna cut some of these flowers out, add those on. But I'm gonna skip over to this one. I think I want some green polka dots under my grass that I'm gonna paint on. Here we go. Or maybe the gingham would be cute. So I'm just gonna tear this so it kind of has a rougher edge, and I'll use that as the basis for my grass. So I want it to come up maybe about that high, so I'm going to cut it off at about this line right here. And after, if you're doing this on mixed media pad or something, you know, other than a canvas board, something thin other than canvas board, after I did this and it was completely dry, I stuck it in my scrapbook, scrapbook paper pad with all that weight on it to flatten it out, or you could use a big book if you have one. I'm gonna get this all the way down on my edge here. So now I've got some grass behind our little birdie here. One of the other things I put on my original, and this is just optional, I ended up covering a lot of it up, but if you want to add some more dimension to it, this is just washi tape. And I'll put this in my Amazon store as well because that's where I ordered it from. But can you guys see all the different patterns on there? So if you want to add like a little pop of color or a little strip of design, you could do that, and it breaks apart and you have really skinny washi tape, or you have the thicker. So that's something else you could add on there. I'm gonna add a little bit of this guy. If I can find the seam, there we are. And it's just tape, so nothing too fancy there. It's just an easy way to add a pop of color. All right, so I said I was going to do a yellow bird this time. Again, you can tear pieces to make your bird, or you can cut them. You can just cut out the entire shape if you want to. I kind of pieced it around, and I was going to show you guys actually. Let me grab, these are my ink pads. I'm going to try something here real quick. You guys can experiment with me because this is my idea. Yeah. So I'm just taking the ink pad and I'm rubbing the edges so it gives it that little vintage look there. So if you want to use your ink pad in that way, you could. I'm going to show you how you can use that with adding your words on as well. Thank you, Kara. I can't wait to see it finished either. So I kind of lay it down, figure out where I need to tear it as I go, and then you can even just stack those pieces on. You still got some wet glue there. And I've got this pretty yellow over here. I think I want to add some of this on the inside too. It's got a little yellow and some pink. So maybe on his like underbelly, maybe make it a little different color. And again, you can overlap. You don't have to keep all your pieces separate. Yeah, I will say mixed media makes you look at Hobby Lobby in an entire different way, because now you're going to go in there and be like, oh, I could put that in there and I could do this. It's a lot of fun. A totally new way to create. And that's what I love about art. We're always learning, always finding new things that you can do that maybe you didn't even know you could do. You could even, and the other one I painted, I may cut a wing out for this one. I haven't decided yet. But I just love the mixture of patterns. I'm just gonna go ahead and put Mod Podge down over my entire shape of my bird so I can, as long as you're decently quick with that, you can just keep moving right along. So isn't that fun, the way that all the colors just work together and overlap? I think it's fun. See how that just kind of worked out, that's the curve that I need along that tail. It's actually kind of, I think I'm gonna leave that. That's actually kind of cute with that little tip at the end. What do you guys think? I'm just gonna leave it. I like that shape. All right, I think I got my birdie on here. I'm gonna add a little strip here where I saw a little bit of white showing through. And then you could either paint a beak on, or you could cut a little beak out. All right, so I'm gonna soak that brush in my water. Grab a sip of coffee. And now go to my paint. So I used one of my favorite colors, my Robin's Egg Blue. I might have to grab a new container of it. I'll see if I have enough here. Now you can water this down if you want it to be more translucent so you can see these patterns behind here. You can water it down a little bit and make it more like a watercolor. Or at the bottom I had it a little bit more opaque. You can see a little bit of the music notes behind there, but not a ton of them. So I'm switching brushes. I'm not using that same one that my glue was in. I just have another one sitting over here. So I'm gonna just grab this. And again, you could do light brush strokes. I'm gonna water this down just a little bit and make it more of like a wash over these music notes. And if you wanted to pick up a different color for your sky, you could add some different blue in. I'm gonna grab this other blue I have. This is called Winter Blue. So it's more of like a, see the difference in those two? More of like a periwinkle type of blue. And I like that little bit of that yellowish color coming through, so I'm gonna leave that on there. Grabbing a little bit of water, just kind of thinning it out over here. Now I'm going to grab some green. This is like a sage green. And I'm not rinsing. I'm even mixing it a little bit with blues I have on there. So again, just kind of using that shape of my scrapbook paper as the basis of my ground here. Thin that out a little. Just put a wash over the top. So now's the fun part where you get to kind of decide what else you want to add on here. I'm gonna come in and add my heart. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it that way. My Mod Podge go? I'm getting a little bit smaller brush just to do these small pieces. And where's that piece of paper? Here it is. I love these flowers. Aren't these pretty? So with patterns like this, you kind of just decide what part of the flower you want to cut out and focus on, because there's so many overlapping. You can kind of cut them off wherever you want. I think I kind of want this whole corner. Really quick. I know I want it to end with that peachy colored rose at the top. And I'm gonna leave that because I'm gonna put it all the way up against my edge. So if you weren't wanting to do that, I'd cut that shape out a little bit more. It's too close to my bird, so I'm going to cut this extra little flower shape off of there to make that a little bit smaller so it's not too close. So what do you guys think so far of how it's coming along? Do you think you like the process of building your collage, your mixed media? I'll let that dry a little bit. I'm going to cut out a few more little hearts here. always good to have an odd number when you're doing stuff like this, so either 3 or 5. That would be fun if we could all go to Hobby Lobby together, like a field trip. Maybe someday when we have one of our events and a bunch of us get to go and meet up together, we can take a little field trip to the store. I'm sure Hobby Lobby would love us. I like those little hearts on there. Super cute. All right. Trying to decide what I want to add to the other side. I might do the same thing I did in the original and give myself a little tree and put a little baby bird up there too. All right, let me find the right size round that I want. So I'm just going to get some black paint here. And keep in mind, this is a very whimsical painting. Anything goes. I'm going to put it right on my line of where my scrapbook paper ends, so then you can't see where that ended. You can decide how thick you want your tree. I'm just gonna go all the way up. You know, I might make this one a little more whimsical. Why don't we add some swirls? If you're new to doing swirls and you haven't done them a lot, practice on the side before you put it on your project. Don't feel like you have to jump straight into that. When I'm doing this, I'm coming out of my trunk so that it's a nice smooth transition, so all those lines are continual. Do I want another one down here? I think I'm going to put a little baby swirl off of that one. All right, I'm liking it. Okay, I'm gonna grab a thin, this is one of our detail brushes here. And I'm gonna add just some black edging along my hearts here. And if you don't want it too stark, you could get black and a little bit of pink, and you could tone it down a little bit if you wanted. Amazing the lines you can get with these detail brushes. I love them. I may even come in and add some little flourishes over here. Oh, I went right into my paint there. That's okay. You guys know the rule. If you make a mistake, just leave it. You can come back and fix it. But I am totally dragging my hand in wet paint right now. So we'll leave that area alone for the time being. And I'm going to do the same thing and come along my bird. Really start to see the definition in that shape. And I've still got to come back. I'm trying to decide if I want to paint on the inside or if I want to cut a wing out. I think I'm going to cut a wing out this time. So just to show you guys something different. Leave that for the eye. And then we've got our little funny legs. Just come straight down. And you can leave those black, or you could add these cute little white stripes on them. All right, what color of wing do I want? I think I want like a teal blue. I think I saw a blue in here that I liked. No, that one's not blue enough. All right, hold on while I move my scrapbook papers around. See all these scraps I have? You'll have a fun little collection of them. Where are you, blue? You know what, maybe I changed my mind. I'm gonna add these cute little, I'm just gonna tear a little edge of this off. I'm gonna add some cute little polka dot. Laura said I knew it. I know, I did want teal, but then I thought I have so much teal in the background. I need some contrast here. So I'm just gonna cut a little wing shape out here. What do you guys think? I may color it in. I may leave those polka dots, but color it in with some more pink. Don't you love watching the process? I just think it's fascinating watching it and just doing it. It's so cool when you have a general idea of your subject matter when you start, but you really don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. It's like a surprise. Oh, I think that's cute. And then I'm going to outline that in black. So that will give it some contrast. And then I'm going to come back in and add some paint on here as well. Cute. Do I not have? There's 0 orange in this entire pad. Let me check my other ones. Let's see what we got here. All right, I'm gonna do something different because you know I love teal. I'm gonna give her a teal nose. She can have a teal little beak. After all, this is abstract. I can make her whatever I want. She does not have to have a yellow or an orange beak. I think that's pretty cute. Gonna grab some white and some of my metallic gold. Thank you. I think she's a happy little bird too. Oh, and I want to add, I was like, I know I'm forgetting something. I want to add a little bit of yellow paint. I hate it when I leave those left open and then they get a little dry thing that blocks it. Okay. So any size brush will do. I just jumped over to this one because it's what I had. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow paint over my bird. And again, you don't have to do this. You could leave it just with the scrapbook paper if you wanted. And I'm gonna add some gold in. We won't really see it too much here, but when it's dry, we'll get these little reflections of gold. Maybe even a little white under her belly. And I want to add just a tiny little dot of pink to her wing here. I'm gonna get that kind of watery. I want those polka dots to still show. Now I came back and I'm adding a little bit of water to this, just so it's a little bit more transparent. And I was able to do that without worrying about it soaking because it was already covered in the Mod Podge. So it already had like a little bit of a sealant on there. If we wanted to come up here, maybe add some areas of hot pink inside some of these hearts, maybe a little gold. And then I used my palette knife and I just did some scrapes of white and gold and different colors. I did purple on the original. I don't think I'm gonna add purple on this one. I think I'm just gonna do gold and white. Maybe get a little of that blue up there and scrape that in. Maybe a little green over here. Make those flowers kind of go back behind the green. Cover up my little boo-boo here, see? Black no more. You never knew it was there. I'm gonna come in with my gold. So you guys see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of scooping up and just adding it wherever. I kind of like the gold kind of framing around a bit. I'm going to add my little white lines on the leg, give her a little dot in the center of her eye. And don't worry about these lines being perfect. Again, honestly, the more imperfect they can be, the better it looks. I got a lot of black paint right there. Smeared a little bit, so I'm just going back and touching that up. I'm using the back of my brush. Just do a dot in that black, wherever you want. I'm going to add a couple little white highlights around our little bird. Okay, I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to let this dry a little bit. That's still wet in some areas. So I'm going to, this brush is what I'm looking for. I'm gonna add our little white flowers like I did at the bottom of the original. And I love these. You're just loading up like a 1 or 2 round brush, and you're literally just kind of pushing down all different shapes, sizes. Try to be nice and random with it so they don't look spaced out too perfectly. And then I did gold in the center of those. So I'm just getting a decent amount, and then I'm just kind of blobbing it down in the middle. So this is very messy, not anything too perfect. There are different sizes. It's still really wet. You might get a little blob there. And I think I want to have some pink up in this tree, kind of like I did. And the original had some little flowers up here. I don't want to cover up too much of my swirls. And I'm avoiding anywhere that might have a little bit of wet black paint. Maybe have some of those falling. Could be flying across. Kind of moving across the page. Like that little bit of color in the bird. All right, so I think the only thing left is for me to add my wording on. So I wrote down a couple different things that I thought about adding on here. I think I'm gonna, I don't know if any of you know that Christian song, You Make Beautiful Things. But it's, you make beautiful things out of the dust, and you make beautiful things out of us. So I'm gonna put You Make Beautiful Things. It's one of my favorite songs. So I'm gonna do it with my stamps. I did wanna show you something really quick, just a thought. So in the original, I did it right on here. I just did Life is Beautiful. But a thought is, you can either handwrite if you want, or you can stamp on here, and then we could cut that out. So I'm just gonna try this really quick. Get all my letters here. And I personally, I don't mind the little edges. I kind of just think it adds to it. But if that's something that bothers you, you can trim the rubber and cut it, and that won't leave those marks on your paper. So I'm just going to show you a different way to do your lettering if you want. Like I said, I did this with stamps. You could also write it on there. So you can use, this is cardstock, you could use it in any color. This is just white that I have. And I'm gonna go, oops, on my ink pad here. Can you guys see that? So I'm getting the edges black. Maybe rub a little bit down on there. I just like that aged look that it gives it. A little messy, but I'm going to show you what it'll look like when we get it on there. Don't you like the way that looks? I think that's fun. And it just adds one more element. So I'm going to leave that brush out because I'm going to do the same thing. So now I got to get my letters because I changed what I was going to write. I had all my stuff out to do the same words, but then I thought I want to make it different. I want it to say something. Since I'm going to hang these next to each other, I don't really need them saying the same thing. I want my little M. I've got a big M. There it is. So sorry you guys are having to watch me sort through my letters right now because I changed my mind. All right, so I'm going to scoot this aside for just a second. I've got an ink pad here. Start getting all my letters laid out that I need. Now, an organized person, unlike myself, would have all of this already set out. All right, I need an E. Whatever E I find first, there we go, it's capital. So I mix my lowercase and capitals just because, again, I kind of like the way it looks. Now I should have all of my words for beautiful. I said words, letters. You guys know what I meant. And I like the letters not being perfectly spaced apart either. Find my S here. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these out. And you could do this directly on your project as well. I wanted to do something different with this one, so I put them on cardstock, and then I'm going to put them on the painting. You like my background here, how I can not hardly even see my my measurements anymore, my straight edges. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing I did with that other one. I'm running the edge along my ink so it has that aged look to it. These don't have anything on them yet. You guys can let me know which one you like better. You like it better on the project, or do you like it better on the separate piece of paper? If I could pick that up, that'd be great. You hear Piper in the background? She's like got jingle bells around her neck. I am loving it with the white cutouts and then putting it on there. And I like that I have it going over the music notes because it is a verse to the song as well. So that just makes sense. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and seal that. I don't think I did earlier. Just put another quick layer over my hearts and then over these flower edges over here, just to get a nice seal on them so there's no peeling. Of course, if you're going to frame this like I'm going to, that is probably not going to matter because it'll be flat inside of a frame. This just puts a nice little protective edge over all of it. All right, what do you guys think? I think we're done. All right, so there we go. Leave me your comments and let me know if you like this if you're excited about doing it. So this is the one, obviously, that we did today. And here is our original. I'm gonna see if I can fit these both on here. Scoot all my supplies out of the way here. So I'm gonna frame, but I'm gonna switch this frame. I just grabbed this to frame it and get it on the wall. I actually have a picture of my kids underneath this, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like framed. I think I'm gonna get like a rustic looking frame to put them both in. Maybe like a whitewashed frame. Trying to scoot this over so you guys can see them both together. Can you guys see that okay? All right, that's it. That's your lesson for today. I cannot wait to see what you guys make. Talk to you soon. Bye.